Whoa. Hey, what's happening? It's me, Robert Phoenix, your Astro Weather man. Thank you for being here and thank you for being patient. I was scrambling to put a few pieces together. You know, I'll give you a little behind the scenes, a little curtain moment behind the scenes. So, usually, what happens is I put this show together the night before so that y'all can get your uh, alert and be here when you get the alert, all that, right? And usually, what I do is I also work on 15 minutes of flame at the same time. So I don't have to do it in the morning. I do it the night before. But there are times when, for 15 minutes of flame, I'll have an idea during the day or I'll have an idea earlier in the night and then I'll put it. But sometimes it's like, okay, well, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And I'm just like, okay, there's a lot to talk about, but I don't really have like a uh set of menu items, right? So, and when that happens, I usually will just punt and then do something in the morning because there can be something that could happen between that moment when I decide to punt and when I wake up. And last night it happened when I was in the bathroom. And I found a very interesting um, kind of connection and node with Kamala Harris that that nobody else has found, um, and it has to do with ritual magic. And I'm going to get into it on 15 minutes. So that's why I was late because I had to plug that in this morning, and it's just just how these things work sometimes. Okay, thank you all for being here, and I mean that sincerely. Let's see, who do we have here? Mr. DJ MC. What's going on, Miguelito? Um, by the way, Michael, if you've never met Michael, Michael is a big person. He is a big person. And he's an MMA guy. I mean, Michael's a physical specimen. So just giving you a visual. Jackie Delario. It's a rainy day in Margate Town. It's a rainy day in Margate Town. There isn't any tourists around. It's a rainy day in Margate Town. Atlantis Rising, greetings. Are there verifiable charts for the Republican and Democrat parties? Yes, there are. I do have a chart for the Democrat Party, which was founded. Guess where it was founded? Of all places, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Portsmouth, New Hampshire. By the way, we got a little South Carolina going on in the background there. Green Act Crow. Hot and muggy in Utah this morning. Lots of smoke from fires. Ooh, not good. Christina Jerizik. Good morning from Ohio. Funny. So not quite Christina, but a Chrissy. Chrissy Hind wound up on my Twitter feed yesterday. And she was back in Ohio and she was standing in front of her house in Cuyahoga. So little ephemera there. What's happening, Queen Lisa? Good to see you. Florida's in the house. My man Ryan, Orlando, Southwest Virginia, reporting. It's a sip to you, Sister Coffee. Marie d'Ange. Bonjour tutti. You get geared up for the Olympics. Some people are predicting a 1972 Munich style event. Let's hope not. You don't need it. Moon sprout. Much needed rain. Man, we got the buckets. The heavens opened here yesterday. Holy smokes. Let's see. Nora Rashid, the queen of speed, listening to the Highwaymen. There you go. Who else we have? Road Trip 19. Hey, darling. Good to see you. Mia. Hi, Mia. Hand back. Rainbows and butterflies. Yes, sign up locals. Everybody signed up for locals. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for supporting. We will have a members only local event on Saturday. Kelly B's here. Hi, Kelly B. Nunya checking in from Elgin. Sharon Lewis. Hi, Sharon. There's Scott. Hi, Scott. Greetings. Buongiorno. Kyle the White. Kyle LeBlanc. There she is, the lovely and talented one, saving Austin one tooth at a time. Let's see. Mary Grether. Hi, Mary. Janice Phillips. Janice, the Gemini, has entered the chat. Look out. Janice, you are a hoot, man. You are a hoot. We're glad you're here. Magical Catacorn chiming in from the DFW. The Ziggurats. Bokatav. Artist Seer. Set my alarm now to go off. May the starlight be with you all as the moon conjunct Saturn. Yeah. Some sobering realities here today. There's my man, Peter Biome. What's going on, Peter? Let's see. Oh, Steve, I got to put this up here. He planted a 6-foot oh la la super Haas avocado tree in my yard yesterday. When everyone's starving, I'll be swimming in guacamole. I love it. Awesome. Moira in New York City. How was your little outing, Moira? How was your escape from New York? Sweet Woodruff checking in from Plano. Hi, Plano. Hi, Sweet Woodruff. PB. Harry Bowie. Hey. SMM. I always say Soris, but it's not. There's a pronunciation for your name, and I don't want to fuck it up. So she's still alive. We're glad you are. Please do hit the like button. That's always helpful. It helps with the algorithm. You can hit it on the way out, or you can hit it now. Either way. Amy Gills here. Joe Litke. Yes. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Subscribe, like, notify. You guys are the best. Speaking of avocados, there you go. Lynn is the queen of the avocado. Jeff Rosen, what's going on, Jeff? Good to see you. I love this. Who doesn't love an avocado? Man, the avocados are close to heaven. Yeah, yes, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Thank you, Ryan, over there. Everybody who's bought me coffee, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. It powers the show, literally and figuratively. It powers the show. It helps me pay for my black hole truck. Misbehaving too. What's happening with you? Yannick Swing. Good morning. Yes, let's bring her up here. Hi, Yannick. Greetings. Welcome. Peter, it's just weird. It's just it's just a weird nodal connection that goes into other connections. Cookie Van Dusen. Hey, Cookie Van Dusen from Big Bear. What's happening? Steve Zeralath, the immortal. Good dawn. What's going on, Steve? There's Steve here. Platinum Happiness. Don't make me blush, Robert. Oh, Michael. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Yes, you can get a reading. That's true. That's true. That's true. Laura E's here. Gaia Travelog. Diane Jewell. I was born at Cuyahoga Falls Hospital. Have a great day, everyone. Look at that. Stink City. Secret Law 2007. Need more coffee. I think I'm going to need more coffee morning today as well. There we go. Don't forget, we got the Harvest Moon. I'm going to put that in the link. Thank you, Ryan, for doing that. I hope to see as many people here. It's going to be great. We're going to have Mario from Symbolic Studies, the newlywed Mario. We're going to have newlywed energy. It's going to be great. I love this. Esteban Rodriguez, peace, love, and prosperity, fam. It feels fantastic. Whip some demonic ass. Beautiful. Thank you, Esteban. Thanks for being here. Glenda Davies, checking in from Cardiff. Ooh, the Great Cliffs of Cardiff. You like that? Melissa Stanton from Florida. Hi, Melissa. Let's see who else we have here. Double K, Catherine Kramer, K2 in the house. Soviet Union defector. The algorithm. That's right. The algorithm. Sandra, it's Sorsha. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra Jack. Sorsha. I will never fuck that up. Sorsha. Let's see. Who else? Scrubbies with the name check. Hi, Tamara. We're going to miss you this October. Kabuki Theater. Hey, Bo. What's going on? Gemini Rising. Ohio is representing today. Look at that. Northbrook, Coleraine Township. Right there. All right. Who else do we have? Stephen, it would not be a show without Stephen the Jupiterian. Let the expanse begin. Let's see. Who else we have here? St. Margaret of Scotland. Good morning. Look at that. Look at that. Nora Rashid. She's going to be here. You get to meet all the people in chat. You know, I was talking with the lovely and talented one yesterday, and I said, you know, I've been doing this since 2010, and I started on Blog Talk Radio, and there was a thing happening on Blog Talk Radio. Like there was a really robust chat. I think Ryan might even remember that because he was around back then. And I've gone through iterations of like you know what we now call as Chattaria, right? Iterations. And I have to say, I was telling the lovely and talented one, this is the best iteration of Chattaria yet. Like maybe it's just a distillation process, right? But this current amalgamation is like really tight, right? Really tight and connected, and it's really fascinating to watch. And I'm glad to be able to be here and be a part of it. All right, let's talk about the weather. The weather. Oh, I need a now. I need a now. Give me a now. Give me a now. Okay. I did this last night. All right, here we go. Easy. This one's easy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Oh, come on. Don't play this game with me. Don't play this game with me. There we go. And let's zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, here we go. We're officially launched, and it's time for the Astro Weather. I don't know about you guys, but yesterday I was like quadruple tasking. There was one point during the day where I was having 4 text conversations happening simultaneously, which I've become pretty good at. I've had some practice at it. 4 text conversations happening simultaneously, eating my lunch getting ready to go visit the mechanic who was working on my black hole, um, and putting together a reading for my afternoon client. And it was all happening at the same time. Plus, I'm like, dropping dropping bombs on Twitter. Twitter yesterday was popping, man. It's totally popping. Anyway, I had this tweet yesterday about who's out there crushing the multiverse with the Mars Pluto trine, and it was a picture of Rick and Morty and one of their iterations of all these different Ricks and Mortys from the multiverse, and that's what it felt like yesterday. It felt like there was like just all of this activity going on. And it was kind of like what I was talking about. Like if you could just stay away from the distractions and stay focused, although one could say that 4 text message conversations at a time might be considered a distraction, but they weren't. And by the way, it was triggered by Steve in chat. Um, he he was the leadoff hitter. So we still have that energy today. And Mars and Gemini it's kind of manic, right? Like it's kind of so it's really funny. One of the metaphors I use for Mars and Gemini is a shark because Mars and Gemini needs to keep moving. Like if you have Mars and Gemini in your chart, you got to keep moving. It's not a Mars that's given to rest. Like my Mars is in Cancer, so I have to at times recharge and then Mars out, recharge, Mars out, recharge, Mars out. Mars and Gemini isn't like that. Mars and Gemini has to keep moving. So I use this metaphor um, of a shark because sharks literally have to keep moving. They will sleep, but for not for very long, right? Because they need to have the current coming through their gills, right? And I even think to some degree their mouth. Uh, I saw this thing yesterday where it was they found that the sharks off the coast of Brazil have traces of cocaine in them. And I'm like, that is fucking crazy. That to me, that's like a Mars Pluto trine, right? It's like, okay, here you go. Right. And Pluto's addictive. There's an addictive quality to Pluto. Anyway, it was just one of those moments. And I didn't connect it to Mars and Pluto, but I put it up on Facebook. I'm sorry, Twitter yesterday. And so there's this quality, right? Like if you can just, you know, keep your head down and just kind of focus, you'll get a lot of shit done. Now, what you get done, that's a whole other story, right? Because one can say, well, having 4 text messages at the same time is not going to change the world. No, I agree with you, right? But it was what was happening in the moment. And one of those text messages was part of a phone call that to get back with somebody to help them with their kind of t-shirt launch, right? So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Today's going to be a very interesting day still. This Merc-Uranus square, like there's all kinds of weird shit coming out. Like yesterday, on Twitter, I put up this uh record. It was somebody ran the Joe Biden. Hey kid, I'm always looking after you. Joe, Joe, we just Doug and I just love you. We just love Joe. We just love Joe and Jill so much. Somebody put that through a piece of software, and that's an AI recording. 98% possibility AI recording. There's your Mercury Uranus square. More is going to come out today. There's going to be a lot coming out today about what's been going on with the last 2 weeks. Whether it's what's happening with Trump, and the assassination. I'm going to get into some of that on 15 minutes. Uh, but also hair, like we're sitting on this powder keg of events over the last 2 weeks that seem planned, right? They seem very planned. Now, when we get to a point like this, we're entering the danger zone because um, shit can go off, right? Like when something, and this is another thing that's going on too. Like there's this weird timeline thing happening, and I'm gonna get into more on 15 minutes, but Robin brought it up yesterday. He sent me this text. This is what I'm talking about with the multitasking. He sent me this text, and it was something I was intuiting, right? Like there's this like time war going on, and like the whole Trump thing resets the timeline, right? And then there's this other thing that happens with CrowdStrike and the servers, and then Biden and Harris, and there it's just it feels like there are these competing forces using all these technologies, AI doubles, um, black magic, right? They're using everything they can in order to manipulate reality. And I think a lot of it too is like happening in the non-temporal realm. And then what we see are these actors playing all this stuff out. It's really weird. Like I've never encountered a time like the time we're in now. Like I think we're getting into Terrence McKenna territory. Like it's starting to happen. And and today is another one of those days where the and that 28th degree is a crazy degree. Like it's a wild, it's like if you plugged in like a power cord into the wall socket, not a power cord in a guitar, and then you cut it, right? And then you just had the cables exposed. Another metaphor would be like a fallen wire from an electrical um, grid, you know, like the wire falls and it's sparking, right? To me, that's very much like the 28th degree. And when you have that energy, and especially as it creeps up on Regulus, which is at zero Virgo, but it's still creeping up on Regulus, people tend to, I think, say things and they're very authoritative. They're very authoritative, right? Like this is it, truth exclamation mark, boom, right? Um, and that can get people in trouble. Now, sometimes with the Mercury Uranus square, things can be shocking. It can be shocking. What? What? What did I hear? What did I hear? So be prepared. Who knows? Maybe you're the shocker. Maybe you're the uh, the power line that's been uncovered, and you're crackling, right? But this is shocking information, and it's fixed sign. Remember, like I talked about this yesterday, when you get into fixed sign territory, it's very hard to unsay what you say. And Mercury's coming up on Virgo. It'll be in Virgo within 2 days, and the critical faculty really kicks in. So we've been dealing with trying to understand what's happened over the last 2 weeks with Mercury and Leo, which is, I think, interesting. But Mercury is um, in its fall there, right? When it moves into Virgo, it goes into dignity, and the fine tooth combs come out, right? The fact finding comes out. So this is a very interesting couple days because it almost feels like if there's going to be obfuscation, like it would happen over the next couple days because once Mercury locks into Virgo, it's a whole different story, right? It's analysis, facts, and right now there's I would say very broad speculation, and some of which is probably true, right? But once we get into Mercury and Virgo, people always like cross their T's and dot their I's and check their work. So it's again. So today's like the last day where um tomorrow, today and tomorrow, but really today is like a cover up day. That's what it feels like. If there's something that's going to be covered up, today's the day. We also have a yod going on with Pluto and Neptune, right? Because we have that Pluto Neptune. They're almost always in sextile. That's how they operate. So when we have Mercury over here in Leo, of course, uh, Leo doesn't really have anything to do. Well, it would usually be Capricorn. And Mercury has nothing to do with Pisces, right? I mean, Leo has nothing to do with Capricorn. But because it's in this 150-degree angle with Pluto, yes, there's going to be a there there. There will definitely be a there there. So the odd is also like the back end program. Neptune is delusion, illusion. Um, Sometimes it's rose colored glasses. Pluto is paranoid, insistent, right? So it's all funneling through Mercury today. It's all funneling through Mercury. This should be an interesting day for Trump because Mercury's on his ascendant. And I think I read something yesterday. You have to be really careful now because there's so much detritus out there. But I think I read that Trump filed like a paper or a suit against what's going on with the Biden administration and Harris and the so-called coup. So it'll be interesting to hear what comes out of Trump's mouth today. Um, so our sun here is at 2 degrees Leo, and again, it's in this really unusual trine with Neptune. I think it's very dramatic. For me, Pisces and Leo are the two signs that represent, acting. The great actors are Leos and Pisces, in my opinion. One man's humble opinion. Um, Although Daniel Day-Lewis is a Taurus, and I think he's one of the best actors of all time, but that's an aside. So this is one of those days where people have creative license. There's a lot of creative license. There's a lot of like mythic drama. There's a lot of that's what I'm looking for. Hollywood. Hollywood. There's a lot of Hollywood today. And how does it affect you? We all are archetypal expressions of myth, in my opinion. Right? We're all archetypal expressions of myth. My father, who was a tinkerer in the garage, like that's what he did. For me, he was like Hephaestus in the underworld. I mean, literally, he would make rings and use fire and forge metals and things like that, right? So that was his archetype. He was Hephaestus. And when you have a particular archetype, sometimes it's difficult to actualize it in the world. And I watched him struggle with an archetype. I mean, this is a guy who, should have been really an artist craftsman. And, he was a Leo, so he was a hobbyist and he did it on the side. But that was really who he was. And unless you have immense confidence in what you do or an environment that supports what you do, what happens is that you wind up taking, and he was a stand-up guy, had a family, he had to have a job, right? Like he could make rings and stuff on the side. I'm gonna do his chart on the first. It's his birthday on the first. I have his chart. I'm gonna do his chart on the first. And going through my mother's stuff, he used to work at this company called Shackley, which did supplements and other things, cleaning products. And they had a company newsletter or newspaper they put out, and they did an article on him, and it was rings are his thing. So I'm gonna pop that out on his birthday. So we all have a myth. We all have a myth. We all have an archetype. Beth Martins talks about this a lot, by the way. Beth does an amazing job. She's terrific. So today, like, what who are you? What is your archetype, and how is it working? Everybody has an archetype, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, which I seriously doubt, archetypes come out of the world of Carl Jung. And for Jung, archetypes emerge from the collective unconscious, and they're directly connected to this idea of myth. That there are people like there's the algal archetype, which is Medusa. And algal is like a really big player right now in the sky in astrology. So today is one of those days with the sun in Leo trining Neptune. I feel like, you know, it's a good day to explore your archetype. And the funny thing is too, it's like sometimes, we don't sometimes people get drunk in their own myth. And I think that's a dangerous place. You can see this with rock stars. They get drunk on their own myth, and then they wind up going into this spiral of ego and narcissism and drugs and whatever, right? I think politicians get drunk on their own myth too. Anybody who takes themselves too seriously gets drunk on their own myth. And then it can be a very ugly um, descent, right? But at the same time, understanding that and embracing that with a degree of self-awareness, but not to the point where it becomes you, because theoretically you're only this myth in this lifetime, right? You're only this archetype in this lifetime. And can you change archetypes? That's the other thing. I mean, I feel like everybody has like a baseline archetype. And so, and I don't want to get into it, but so yes, I think you can have different chapters in your life where you take on a different mythic quality, right? Um, but you have a baseline archetype. I think today is a good day to explore that. Who are you? Who are you? And how do you express yourself through this classic modality of the collective unconscious? Because I think, again, from a healthy, integrative, Jungian perspective, an individuated perspective, your myth or your archetype is integrated. It's not distinct from who you are. So I think this is a good day to explore that. Sun opposite Pluto. We still have that intensity. It's like, okay, masks off. What's going to happen with Biden? What are we going to learn about Biden today? The whole thing is so fucking weird. So weird. And we've never seen anything like this ever. Ever. We've seen some shit, but nothing like this. Period. End of story. What else do we have? I really like the Venus Chiron trine, and it's going to get stronger. I really like this, especially Venus and Leo. I like Venus and Leo. It's warm, it's loving, it's generous, and trining Chiron. It's like there's room at the table for everyone, and I think the Venus Chiron trine has some real power to embrace relationships that are not completely perfect, right? They say love conquers all. Well, I think we'll find out with this Venus Chiron trine. in the days to come. The moon is conjunct Saturn. Somebody brought that up. It's not an easy moon. It's funny when we moved into this house, I did the chart, and the moon was conjunct Saturn, right? So this is the lunar, and so I moved in with my mother, right? My mother and I, moved into this house, and so it was like, yeah, okay. The burden of responsibility was on me because we were living together, right? So this is interesting. This is the moon conjunct Saturn is like grandmothers. It's grandmothers, it's older mothers. It's also um lucidity, right? There's this kind of lucid, more austere approach to emotions, and then you have Jupiter coming in and cracking it open and says, "Don't take yourself too seriously." Right? Don't take yourself too seriously. Gemini is the jokester, it's the prankster, it's Hermes. So if you are down in your cups today, or you find somebody who's down in their cups today, crack a joke, light them up, right? You don't have to change their mood, but you can lob something into their reality that might put a smile on their face. Um, all right, let's get into our star of the day. Let's get into our star of the day. Now, sometimes people are True Hemp Science star of the day. Sometimes people will get on my case. Let me do the banner here. Uh, right there. Okay. Right there. So sometimes people get on my case when I do sports people. But if somebody's interesting, by the way, there is no lack of interesting people during the month of August, July and August. I gotta say, like Leo has candidates, right? They have candidates, serious candidates. So let's talk about True Hemp Science, and then we're going to talk about Barry Lamar bonds. So True Hemp Science, of course, is the company that is owned and operated by my friend Chris in Austin, Texas. He has a physical location. If you ever want to drop by there, you can certainly do that. Say hi, meet him. He may be there. He's busy. He's got a great assistant now. He's off. He's got his hands. He's got his hands in many different pies: production, shipping, you name it, formulation. He's hands on. So if you want to have a CBD experience that's right up there with just about any other CBD company, True Hemp Science is your source. The Moonlight gummies, the sleep gummies, they're right at the top of the list. On his tinctures are great. He has topicals. He's got water-based, spagyrics, alcohol-based, you name it. It's all there. And all you got to do is type in 15MINS, 15MINS, and you will get a free goodie bag with your order of $100 or more, and you will get free shipping at $150 or more, and there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you would like to find out which product is best for you, you can make an appointment, and Chris or his assistant will reach out and talk you through the entire product line. Talk about service. Anyway, truehempscience.com. And the True Hemp Science star of the day is Barry Lamar Bonds. Now, Barry Bonds is a controversial figure because he was the most prolific home run hitter during the steroid era. And Barry was a great hitter when he played in Pittsburgh. He signed with the San Francisco Giants as a free agent. His father, Bobby, played for the Giants. So I think that the Giants offered him a lot of money, but it was also an opportunity for him to play in the Bay Area. He went to Sarah High School, which is the same high school that Tom Brady went to, by the way. And when Barry was young, he played at Arizona State. And he played with the Pirates. He was good. He had, he could hit for some power, average. He was skinny as a rail. And he's a Leo, right? So these guys, Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa and Jose Canseco, started hitting all these home runs. And everybody in Major League Baseball knew what they were doing. Even some of the pitchers were using steroids so that they could recover faster. It didn't add any like velocity really to their pitches. But if you were a reliever and you pitched every other day, it's taxing. So steroids would allow your muscles to recover quicker. So yeah, they were using steroids too. So Barry Bonds looked around and he said, shit, these guys are hitting all these home runs. They have an unfair advantage. Well, when in Rome, right? So Barry became the most prolific home run hitter of all time. And there's an asterisk next to all of his home runs. Look at him. So when you take steroids and you go through a weight training regimen, um, you will look like that. It was not out of the question that, like, if Barry Bonds was up, you stopped everything. Bonds is up. Hold on. Right. Because there's a good chance he's going to hit a home run. And not just any home run, like towering shots. And in San Francisco, in right field, you can hit it out of the park and the ball will splash down in the bay. And when he was up, like they used to have people in kayaks out there that would just wait for the home runs and then paddle furiously to get the home run. And he did that quite often. So clearly the steroids were working. And I was trying to look at his chart, and you can see him all over his chart. Barry's a remote figure and not very well liked. People don't really like Barry Bonds. When he went to the Giants, there's this famous story when he went to the Giants. We go over to the 11th house, which is teams, right? This is individual performance. This is the team. And he went into the locker room, and the first thing he did is he walked up to all the pitchers in the Giants locker room, and he said, I got you, I got you, I got you, I got you, meaning that he hit home runs off. Like, this is like the first days in the locker room. Right? It's like you don't really ingratiate yourself to your teammates. Barry Bonds was more than just cocky. Barry Bonds is arrogant. Now, was it an arrogance born out of um, being shy? I don't know. Right? People don't really know Barry Bonds. He's got the sun in the eighth house. And what's really interesting is I talk about the eighth house as being the house of legacy. And he's dealing with his father's legacy. Like his father, Bobby, was a really good baseball player. He played with Willie Mays, but his father had an alcohol problem. And you can see this, right? Saturn is the father and conjuncting the IC and Pisces. And he has a wounded father, right? He has a wounded father. And I think that really affected Barry. He's never really talked about his father. And Bobby was a big drinker, right? And I think it really affected him. And so he didn't really care, though, what people thought. He's born on a full moon. There's that moon in Aquarius. He didn't care what people thought. And if you look at his shape and proportion, Sag rising, Barry got a lot bigger as his career went on. Now, I think you can see the steroids here. It's right here, right? Jupiter in the fifth house. This is all about pastimes, sports, right? What's it doing? It's trining Pluto, and Pluto's conjunct Uranus. And I feel like this is the steroids right here. He's tapping into science. And he did. He was connected to this company called Balco. And you can see everything in Barry Bonds' chart. Everything. Mercury and Leo, again, there's that kind of arrogance. Um, it's so funny, right? We know a lot about his home run hitting and some of his locker room antics, but we really don't know a lot about his home life. And I really feel like whatever he experienced with his dad, like he's very protective of his dad. Um, and there's that Mercury Jupiter square, right? He's going to say things and it's going to be inappropriate. I got you. I got you. I got you. The other weird thing about Barry Bonds is that when he hit the home run to break the all-time home run record by Hank Aaron, the the broadcast of that mysteriously went silent. It's very strange. It's almost like MLB or KNBR or whoever was broadcasting it cut it. It was really, really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. Like when you hear Dave Fleming, who's the announcer, call it, he starts off and then it goes blank. And then he comes back and he's rounding the bases. It's very bizarre. And I wonder if it has something to do with this Mercury in the eighth house and this opposition with Saturn. Maybe Major League Baseball said, look, if he hits it, you got to cut it. We don't want any record of this. It's very, very bizarre. Extremely bizarre. Was he a good teammate? I don't know. I don't think so. But the guy's hitting, 60 home runs a year. You kind of look the other way if he's an asshole. Um, One of the other interesting parts about Bonds is that there was this guy who was his trainer, and there was this whole weird steroid thing going on during the Obama administration. And when Obama got in, nobody really talks about this, but when Obama got in, he went after two really American pastimes and icons. He went after Lance Armstrong and he went after Barry Bonds. When you say, well, how did he do it? Well, it's in his administration, right? And the attorney general was the one that was running these show trials. So they brought all these Major League Baseball players. It's like, let's dump on America's pastime. Let's disgrace Lance Armstrong. It was to me, it felt a lot like a psychological operation. Anyway, so Barry Bonds' trainer refused to testify. It's a grand jury. He's subpoenaed. If you don't testify, you like Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, you go to jail. So his trainer wind up going to jail. And they would say, okay, you have another opportunity to testify. And every time it came up, he said no, and he kept doing his bid. He was completely loyal to Barry Bonds. And maybe Barry said, look, I'm going to make it worth your while. Right. The other thing about Barry is that he reminds me a little bit of Ricky Williams. He's got that Mars Venus conjunction, and he looks like a Sherman tank, but there's a side of Barry that's very feminine. And I'd look at him sometimes. I'm like, is Barry Bonds gay? Is he gay? It looks like he's also born on an eclipse, right? And so people born on eclipse tend to have faded lives. Yeah, there's that true node in uh, Leo. There should be a south node. Where's that south node? It's a true node in Cancer. No, he's not born on eclipse. My bad. True node in Cancer. That's interesting. That's very interesting. True note in Cancer. He's sensitive. He's a sensitive guy. Maybe that's his loyalty. I was trying to figure out where his loyalty to his trainer was. It might be that True note in Cancer. Anyway, the guy did about a year and a half in jail, and every time they sent out the subpoena, he said no. So Barry's an unusual character for sure. Can I see the steroids in this chart? Yes, I can. Can I see the arrogance in this chart? Yes, I can. Can I see the wounded father in his chart? It's down here. You wouldn't know these things unless you knew Barry Bonds. Although if you're an astrologer, you could probably, chip away at it and get there if you didn't know who he was. All right. There you go. Your True Hemp Science star of the day. It's Barry Bonds, Barry Lamar Bonds. And I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. When this whole steroid thing was happening, I thought it was really hypocritical. Like, we're a country that just uses drugs all the time, right? Ozempic or Luvox or whatever mood elevator or SSRI is sexy at the time. Like, we're a country, Xanax, we're a country that is addicted to pharmaceutical drugs. So I think it's hypocritical to say, oh, well, we can't use drugs here. Can't use drugs here. It's like, I kind of disagree with that. And really, it's like, well, we have to watch out for the safety of the person. I mean, it's their body, right? If they want to shrink their testicles or whatever, it's up to them. So anyway, there you go. There's my little soliloquy. Hey, come join us over on 15 Minutes. We're going to get into the Kamala, the weird Kamala, I'll call it node, that I found last night at about 12:40 in the morning. And then we'll talk about more stuff related to it as well. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Treat each other well. You have everything you need inside of you to navigate this multiverse. And God bless. Bye for now.